Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. I have a discussion if you want one.
Oh, let's go straight
Not
in.
not necessarily vegan related, but sort of.
Go for it.
Actually, it's not vegan related.
Ha!
Have you seen the social media posts about composting your dead body?
I did see one. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a new thing that they reckon is a massive reduction on your carbon footprint after you die.
Yes, apparently so.
I'm up for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah. I'm all over that. I'd always I've always kind of thought along the lines of cremation anyway. So I'm not
Hmm.
one for having a grave for people to go and
No.
visit. So that's a far less carbon resource activity,
Yeah,
I think.
because on the post, I just watched it again then came up before we came in. That even cremation puts about, I think it was 400 kilograms. I don't know what the
It's a
metric,
lot.
I don't know what the unit of measurement is now. 400 something or other of carbon into the atmosphere on the burning process. Because that's where I was headed.
Mm.
um, but yeah, I'm up for being composted myself. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Why not?
I reckon it takes about 2 months or something.
Is that all?
Yeah, because of what they put into it.
Oh.
So
So that they don't just bury you in the ground.
no, you put into a chamber. I think it's a good idea.
Mm.
Another little thing we can do. Activism when we're dead.
Yeah, that's it. Activism went with it. And then when they give you the little bit of soil at the end, you can just use it to spell out in flowers, "I'm vegan."
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
just so everybody knows, even beyond the grave.
Yeah. Well, I was vegan.
Awesome. I was vegan. Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, we're recording this just after we've released our episode where we spoke to Richard, aka School Night Vegan.
Yeah.
We've had lots and lots of excellent feedback and some awesome comments from, as you'd expect, Dave in Cardiff.
Hey.
Mhm. That was a blast from start to finish. Really great guest. Hilarious. And also our super fan, Martin, which I probably should have got up on my screen before I mentioned him. There we go. Hilarious pod. Was always going to be good after the custard talk. Can't argue with that. And a comment from L, aka very good, very nice.
Hmm.
The wavy things at car dealerships are called tube men.
Tube man. There you go.
Yes. So I did. You would not believe how hard it is to Google something without knowing what it's called.
I
So,
think actually I have been in that position.
and I think I found it by putting in wavy things at car dealerships,
Wow.
and it came up as either tube men or, as a more gender neutral term, sky dancers,
Sky dancer. That's nice.
which I like. I like sky dancer. That's a good one. But anyway, there we go. And um, yeah, many thanks to Richard for coming on.
Yeah, he was fun. It was good fun from the first 10 seconds.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That was a great one. So happy days.
Yeah.
So today we have a very different guest. We have a someone who is very much an ancient vegan
Okay.
who's been vegan for 34 years,
Wow.
which I think takes the crown in terms of our guests
Think
who
so.
have been ancient vegans. I don't think we've got anyone longer than 34 years. So She'll be joining us, and we will have a very good discussion about the animal rights organisations that she works with,
Cool.
and the activism that she does. So that's going to be very exciting.
Wow. I do like ancient vegan. I think it's fascinating that they were able to do it back then.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
don't think that sense of awe will ever go away, knowing what it's like now.
no, exactly. The just the I guess having the same thing to eat every day and not being able to eat out properly.
Yeah.
You know, that's just an incredible achievement. But we'll find out more
Yes.
when we speak to Veda very soon.
Cool. If you want to get in touch, then you can find us on our social medias. We're on all of them: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter a little bit, but not too much. TikTok and YouTube. Then you can message us on any of those platforms. And if you want to come on, what would you do?
Oh, well, it all very much depends. Are you on email, Wes?
I am, yeah.
Yes, you simply have to be these days. If you're on email and you want to come and join us on the pod, then just send us a message to howiveganpodcast@gmail.com.
Fantastic. And otherwise, like us, share our content, share our pod, rate us, review us. It's all that good stuff.
But only review if you're going to give us 5 stars. If
Absolutely.
it's less than that, then don't bother.
Don't bother, because that's really
just yeah, write it in a notebook or something like that. That's fine.
And not that it's that time and we don't really know anything, but if you want to nominate us for best vegan podcast, then crack on. You never know, do you?
Oh God, what a laugh!
Best vegan podcast presented by 2 middle-aged bearded men that have really no clue what they're doing.
Right, okay. Apart from that bit, you'd be amazed how many vegan podcasts there are hosted by 2 white middle-aged men with beards.
Yeah.
I think it's probably about 90%.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Even though 2/3 of vegans are female, something like 90% of vegan podcasts are hosted by men.
Yeah.
Which is a ridiculous statistic, but there we go.
Dad bods, baldness, beards, and tattoos. You know.
Yeah. Dad pods or dad bods?
Both, that'll do.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Veda.
I didn't know we were going to be on. I thought it was a podcast.
It absolutely is a podcast. We only use the audio, but we found that it's easier if we can see each other when we're chatting. Sure. That's all.
So I'll take my robe off.
Okay. Just stop at the robe, though. Nothing else.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not that sort of podcast.
I forget your names. Tell me again.
Wes.
Matthew.
Oh, there they are. Great. Yeah. And I sent a note that it's Veda rhymes with vegan. Because I got so tired of people calling me Veda. So I finally, now when I introduce myself, I say Veda rhymes with vegan. You know?
Yes.
Isn't Veda the name of the girl in My Girl? The film?
I don't know.
I was thinking of Darth.
The Vedas are like Hindu religious stuff.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And
how did that come about then?
My friends tell me it's actually an Iranian name that means Veda.
Okay.
So, and I'm certainly not Persian, you know, but I'm an animal rights vegan activist with an Iranian name. So I'm sure I'm on some lists here and there.
Did you ever ask your parents where that came from? Why they chose
They found it in a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just found it in a book. And they named my poor brother Herbert.
Oh, wow.
Herbie, Herb, you know, there's no saving it. You know, and it's funny because my mother's name is Hazel and my father's name is Odie. So you would have think they would have had the decency to not put their children through that. It was horrible growing up, you know,
Oh,
as a
man.
child. But I'm glad now because people remember me because it's an unusual name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What part of England are you in?
So I'm up in northern part of England near Manchester.
Okay. I've seen maps.
I'm in the Midlands in Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
It's I'm in the bit that people drive past on their way to somewhere else.
Yeah, in the United States, they call them the flyover states.
Oh,
in
yes,
the middle
yes.
of the country. Yeah, they call them that.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm in
I remember.
beautiful Pacific Northwest. It's
Yeah,
just
so you're
I
on an
love it.
island, aren't you, off Seattle? Is that right?
Well, yeah, you drive across a slough and a bridge to get here. So technically it's not an island, but everybody's called it an island forever. But you know,
Sure.
yeah, no, it's just glorious. I mean, bright blue skies and puffy white clouds, and it rains. So everything is so green. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yes.
just lush. I wish I could show you, but anyway, thanks so much for this opportunity. Really, you know, I
know,
don't
it's
know.
our pleasure.
You just want to ask me questions because I can talk forever. So
That's why you're here.
What we want.
That's what we want. Yeah, we want people to talk. Otherwise, it's just me and him chatting to each other. Nobody wants that.
Sorry.
Well,
So
sure they
let
do.
me
Yeah.
let me do a little intro then.
Okay,
First of all,
I'm ready.
awesome. So our guest has been an animal rights and vegan activist since January 1989. She's been a volunteer and a board member of several animal rights organizations and has been on the board of United Poultry Concerns since 2013. Definitely going to ask about that in a minute. And she's also worked for allcreatures.org since 2008. And also in 1992 created the first version of What to Eat When You Don't Eat Animals, which is which you're holding up there, which is a document which you can download for free, and it's basically a how-to vegan guide, if you like. There's a huge amount of resource on it. It's absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
So check that out. Our guest today is Veda. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm very proud of this work.
Fantastic. So we worked out in the introduction that you are our please don't take this the wrong way, you're our most ancient vegan. We mean that with great respect, because
right.
we've had some we've one of our early guests is a 30-year vegan. He just celebrated his 30th year, and up until today he held the crown for longest vegan that we've had on. So tell us, we'll come on to how your vegan story began in a minute, but tell us about United Poultry Concerns. What's the story there?
Karen Davis founded United Poultry Concerns in the early 90s, and she knows more about chickens, I assert, than any living human being.
Oh, wow.
She can tell you the impact on the chicken's liver of having to stand on a wire cage. She is the go-to source for anything. And it's about protecting what we call poultry. And they are, besides sea animals, chickens are the most abused animal in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of thousands an hour, you know, everywhere. They're just brutalized. And she's the expert. And besides her depth and just deep knowledge about everything bird and chicken, she's an amazing animal rights activist. I mean, she writes beautiful essays about the power of leafleting that are really useful to new people who think it's something else. She has a great article called Don't Apologize for Animals. And I've been an activist for years when I read it, and I was embarrassed when I read it because I realized I do that. You know, I just, well, I really love animals. That's why I'm vegan, you know, like apologizing for them. And it's just a brilliant piece. Don't apologize for the animals. And it's just a privilege. to be on her board. I mean, she sent me an email and said, would I be interested? And it was like, absolutely. You know, I mean, to be able to be a friend and a confidant to someone who's that powerful and that well known is just really a privilege that I get to be her friend and to be able to contribute to her in however, you know, whatever way I can. It's just an honor. And United Poultry Concerns, UPC-online, just absolutely get on her newsletter. She does amazing alerts, and is just a profoundly amazing activist, one of my favorite humans. So I've been really privileged to be on that board. I was also on the board for Orange County People for Animals in Southern California. And that was one of, you know, back in the, you know, 80s, or, you know, late 80s and early 90s. And I've just been really privileged. And I, you know, my job for All Creatures, can I talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. That would have been my next question if you didn't talk about it.
Okay,
so it's
fine. I worked for animalsvoice.com that started the Animals Voice magazine, and which, by the way, all the back issues are now online, animalsvoice.com. And I worked for them for years. And when the funding stopped, I was looking for a job. And someone recommended I call Frank Hoffman at All Creatures. And I'm a lifelong atheist. And I thought, well, I don't know how this is going to work because it's a Christian-based animal rights vegan website. And we talked for quite a while. And he said he had heard of me and respected my activism. And I told him, I said, you need to know, I'm not only not religious, I don't understand it. I'm never going to pretend to be. So I don't know if that's, you know, good or bad for what you're looking for. And he said, I need an activist more than I need a Christian. So
nice.
Yeah, really great. And he went to web school in like 96 or 97 because as a pastor, he had discovered animal rights and veganism, and it was just so disappointed and horrified at the lack of churches, you know, stepping up for animals. So he looked to see how to reach more people. And so he went to web school. And so the site is, you know, we've tried to update it a little, but a lot of it looks like 1996, 97, you know, and we're working on it. You know, it's just, we have at least 150,000 pages. It's a great archival site covering all kinds of activism. I have complete freedom to post whatever I want. I can post anything I want. And that's a gift. You know, there's no restrictions. There's no boundaries at all. And it covered, we have a great newsletter once a week. And if you look at it, there's probably 20 or 30 different items every week. And it just shows for me the variety of tactics and methodologies and the different kinds of humans and different perceptions of animals that there's so much going on for animals. There's just for animal rights. Our focus is animal liberation and veganism and not plant-based. Yeah. I'm an animal rights vegan. And you know, one of the things I'm so thankful to Frank and All Creatures is that his biblical work, his work for, you know, getting more people of faith, is that it is about, do you care about how God's creatures are treated? He said, that's what you ask people. You know, if you believe in God and they say yes, you say, is this how you think he wants his creatures treated? And it's been a very good opening for conversations, you know, to just not argue with people. You know, he said, never get into dueling Bible verses, you know. So, and the thing I want to say about the religious side is in the last, I would say 5 or 8 years, there's just been this explosion of religion and spiritual veganism. There are more organizations now than I ever thought would be happening. And if you want someone who's a Buddhist or a Christian or a Jew or a Jain to be vegan, they're going to listen to those people who have that same foundational religious base, then they're going to listen to me. So we need people of religions to be, working on animal issues and to be out there, and we need to support them.
Mm.
And I don't know what it is about so many animal rights vegan activists, but they're just nasty about religion. I mean, they're just mean. It's like, oh, you're so stupid, and are you still believing? These are animal rights vegan activists who you're attacking a lot of the time. So work for the animals. If you want to have religious arguments with people, do that. But don't be bashing religious vegan animal rights activists. I mean, it's a shame,
Yeah.
But they aren't mean. And but I have a little statement and say, please don't do this, because a lot of these people are, very powerful and difference-making vegan animal rights activists. So let them believe what they believe, so that's it. And what else do I want to say? All creatures. It's just the archive is amazing. I mean, there's probably 1,000 articles just on like the meat and dairy industry. And the reason it's such a good place to go is you can see, looking at over the years, the changes in the movement based on the kind of articles that were posted over time.
Mm.
And one of the great changes I've seen is somewhere a lot of the major big money organizations decided to, instead of promoting even vegetarian, much less vegan, they went with this happy meat. They went with, let's promote bigger cages. And that whole conversation, the humane myth, as it's called. And I can't remember the quote, but it's like, there's no humane way to kill somebody who wants to live.
No.
Nope.
And
Can't be done.
I just see, and I'm just really sad about plant-based. I think that's fine if it's like Food Network, but it has become so much about food that the animals are getting lost. Animal rights is getting lost.
Yeah.
So I can talk forever. What else would you like to know?
No, I think that's a really good point, because there's so much focus on, look at this new product that's just come out, look at this thing that this meat company have brought out that's a plant-based alternative. And the actual animal, I forgot the word, animal freedom is you're very rightly overlooked, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I guess it's finding a happy balance of convincing people that plant-based food is good, because I think a lot of people know about the abuse that goes on in slaughterhouses and stuff, don't they? But they still choose to eat it.
Yeah,
this is the problem that we have, isn't it?
Yeah, I would argue that they don't know. I mean, I've been doing this pretty much full time for over 30 years, and I think probably 3 times a week I hear of some new way to hurt an animal that I never heard of.
Oh, really? Okay.
The depth and breadth of it is just, I decided it's like the stars. It's finite, but it's finite like the stars, the ways to abuse animals. It's just, I mean, it's just horrific. Factory farming, for instance, is a rape business. It's about rape, it's about bestiality, and it's about, there's nothing, these animals. I think one of the things about eating animals that I don't know how to prove it or do scientific studies, but apart from the negative physical things that we're eating that poor animals suffer, we've been eating rage for generations now. These animals are upset every minute of their lives, or if they're, patted on the head and taken care of, when their throat's slit, they're upset. And it's like, I look at the state of the world and it's like everybody's upset. And we've been eating this rage because that's physical. That it's not like it's in their flesh and in their eggs and then, in the milk and everything. And it's just, I don't know how to prove it, but I think, you know, and my personal experience and so many people I've talked to is there's something that happens not just physically when you go vegan, but I'm just more calm. And I don't know, you know, how to prove that. You know, I guess we should do, you know, psychological tests on people before they're vegan and then after, which would be fascinating. You know, somebody should do that. But it's just, and what we're doing to the planet, I mean, it's just absolutely horrific. The analogy I use is, well, it's not an analogy, but in the US, we kill about 1 million animals an hour. That's 300 a second. And if you have a football field, and in the first 10 yards, you have a cow, a goat, a sheep. And in the next 20 yards, you have turkey, turkey, turkey. And the next 70 yards, you have chicken, 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 chicken. Every 3 seconds, they're dead.
Wow.
And then next 3 seconds. And then next 3 seconds. So the numbers are just beyond my brain. You know, it's hard for us to comprehend. But also, before they died, they were all peeing and shitting. And it all goes into the air, the land, and the water.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff, you know, and it's horrible. The Earth Day, I, you know, gave up on Earth Day 15 years ago. You know, any Earth Day celebration, you could buy hot dogs. You know, and it's just, you know, there's just there's so much.
Yes, I don't know the origins of Earth Day, but it just seems like, you know, a bit like Valentine's Day. It's just something that's been taken over by the card industry to make you buy cards and feel guilty about not buying a card.
Yeah.
I feel like Earth Day is just something that companies have created to make it look like they're doing something, but really it's just so that they don't have to do anything too drastic.
Yeah.
So they can say, yeah, look at us, we're doing Earth Day, but really, what does it actually mean?
Yeah, it started in the early 70s, and I'm an old hippie, so it was like about, you know, freedom and nature, and, you know, and it went that way.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things too is we have to remember that the people who are profiting from people eating animals, they don't want healthy people.
No.
And you don't need big pharma.
No.
You know, and so it's all entangled. It's all entangled, and, you know, everything's connected. And there's
much like the oil and gas companies as well.
Well,
there's no incentive for them to
but
stop.
The amount of oil and gas that's used in big ag is just horrendous. I mean, it's besides water, you know, the oil and gas, but there's so much that's about money, and, you know, I don't know how to counter it, you know. So that leads me, can I talk about my guide?
Please do.
Oh, good. I've been vegan for about 3 years, and I actually saw a picture. A friend of mine showed me a picture of a lab monkey. And I said, who do I call? We have to stop this. And I went to a Last Chance for Animals meeting that night. That's in Southern California. And in realizing that what I was looking for something, I was in a seminar, a landmark seminar called Accomplishment. And we were given homework one week. Would we be willing to take on something we couldn't complete in our lifetime? To just take a look and see. And it's not a question people normally ask themselves, you know. And about half of us came back and said, no, I want to just be a great human and make a difference, but there's no big thing. And half of us, like me, said, yeah, I'm looking for something. I was very happy, very satisfied. I had my own business. And so I started looking, and it was 88, so it was pre-internet. So I don't even know I don't remember where I looked. You know, I can't remember those days at all. But I learned more about male and female spousal abuse, child abuse, rainforest clear cutting, extinction. And I was looking for something, and a friend of mine showed me this picture. So I went to a meeting that night, and I realized I found it. I want animal liberation. That's what I'm going to work on for the rest of my life. And it wasn't long because at that time in Southern California, it was mostly anti-vivisection and don't wear fur.
Yeah.
And by the way, don't eat them. Just kind of,
Yeah.
by the way, oh, okay. And I found a little wounded pigeon, and she couldn't fly away. She had to live in the house, but she would wake up in the morning and stretch her wings and her legs. And I thought of battery hens. I thought, oh, well, I can't eat eggs anymore. That was easy. And then it was quick leap to dairy products. But after 3 years, I just went vegan for the animals. It was never a problem. It was, well, I'm not going to eat, I guess I'll eat Triscuits. I'll eat crackers and water. I didn't care. And I wish I could give that to people because it's so easy. It isn't like I'm ever, well, aren't you just tempted now? No, I'm not tempted now and then. No. And so I don't know how to give that to people. But after 3 years of being vegan, I realized people weren't asking me, well, what do you eat? Because they were stupid. They really didn't know. It's so alien. In '88, it was even more alien than it is now. And so I started writing down. I asked all my friends all the time, every time I saw them, it would be like, oh, here comes Veda. She's going to want to know what we ate for breakfast. So I started keeping lists of everything. And so I designed the very first What to Eat When You Don't Eat Animals in '92. And I printed it up in little booklets and I gave them away. And every few years I would update it, mostly because I found better ways to say things. There were a few new products here and there. So every 3 or 4 or 5 years, I would update it. And then about a year and a half ago, there was someone on Facebook named David Hoey who has great vegan memes. They're just the best. So I started communicating with him and found out that he's an editor and a longtime activist. And he has a website, I think it's called 80s Pop Animals. And he loves 80s music, most of which I have no idea. I'm an old roller. But he was going to draw people in who love 80s music into animal rights and veganism. So between the two of us, we really put together the most recent guide. And we're really proud of it. It's a PDF. It has so many, hundreds of products that people need to know about. And, my personal vegan journey, because I think it's important that everybody sees that we all came from different places and got here in different ways. And it's just been very, very powerful. I also have, I made little cards that have a QR code.
Oh, nice.
So it goes right to the landing page. And on the landing page, it says link here for the most recent PDF. So, yeah, so every 3 months, I update it.
That's cool.
Wow. And on the vegan podcast page, you will even find our little pod, which is quite incredible.
Oh, look.
So we're very grateful to be included. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So then you mentioned about you went to the group and you decided animal liberation was the thing. That was the first step in your vegan journey?
Yeah.
Or were you already vegan? Yeah.
No. I realized that, when the more I learned about animals, how they were abused and tortured and everything, that in order to really be committed to animal liberation, I had to be vegan. So it was like, oh, okay. That's when I said, it was like, well, I guess I'll eat Triscuits or something, and I've never, and I hate to cook. I just, 3 ingredients is the most I'm interested in. And I make 2 great vegan meals every day. So I'm living proof how easy it is. And I wanted people to know that, because a lot of people, you go on I go on the website or on Facebook and it says, "Ooh, vegan cheesecake, only 27 ingredients." No, not doing that, And there's things like I couldn't even begin to make lasagna or fancy things. I just have no interest in cooking. I'm hungry. I want to eat in like 10 minutes, at the most. So that's why I like all the products, because they're fun. They're fun and delicious. And I think it's important for people to know that you don't need to. I eat anything that's not animals, pretty much, or has palm oil. Those are my rules. And I don't, this whole eat 7 fruits and vegetables every day. Who does that?
Yeah.
All the recommendations are for all this, and be sure you're getting, I don't care how much potassium is in a walnut, and there are people who care. And so there's all kinds of resources in the guide about where to find out, whatever you want to know more about environmental consequences. The 3 sections in the back are the impacts of eating animals on animals, the impacts of eating animals on human health, and the impacts of eating animals on the environment. And we have great sources that are all linked. So if you like a quote and you can go to the website and probably learn a lot more. And and that's why having it printed all those years was fine back in the day, but now it needs to be online. It's a PDF.
Yes.
Click, and every 3 months I go through and I click every single link, check them out, be sure they're still working. I don't know why companies change their URL, but they do. It's so annoying, but I want to make it easy, because most people won't have, for whatever reason, that in that epiphany where it's like, oh, okay, I'm not going to eat them. Now what? And I can't give that. I wish I could give that to people, that moment. And a lot of people experience it in different ways. But I think the important thing is, the guide is definitely US, but they're online. So I'm sure some of these companies are, all over the place. And I think it's just lots of ideas. David found, for instance, this listing of 300 kinds of fruit, so I mean, it's amazing. Oh, okay.
300.
Yeah, I mean, you could eat a different fruit almost every day of the year.
Wow.
So it's really, it's a great resource. I'm sorry, what?
That sounds like a challenge.
Say it again?
It sounds like a challenge eating a different
Yeah. Well, it's not hard to go, redo all the links. It just takes some time to do it, but I do want to make it easy. And I have great endorsements. It's, I'm really proud of having been around so long. And these great activists who I have such respect for wrote such nice things. It's like, wow, thanks. I really appreciate it. So
in all these 34 years then, is what's been the biggest struggle that you found being vegan?
Biggest problem?
Yeah, biggest struggle, biggest problem you found.
It just really hasn't been. I started my own typing word processing business in 81. So I've been working at home alone since 1981. So, if I had a part-time job here and there, I would take my own lunch and, people would ask questions, but it's never, I'm just not somebody who's real concerned with what other people think of me.
Right.
And, it's for the animals. It's like Karen always says, it is about the animals. That's why I'm doing everything I'm doing. And my house is full of animals. I have about 20 little animals this size, and then a bunch of this size, and then bigger ones. I mean, everyone's they're just pictures and little knick-knacky things. And I mean, I just love animals so much. I'm like, some people are that way about babies, and some people are that way about flowers or, birds, but I love all of them so much. And I cannot believe the things we do to them.
Yeah.
It's beyond atrocious, So if I can make it easy for people to stop paying money for people to torture animals, that's what I want to do.
Yes.
That's what I'm committed to. If that helps ending some of the torture, then I've got my job done.
That's it. It's a great aim, because it's not just you rejecting that animal abuse, but helping others to stop it as well. That's a great calling to follow.
Yeah. And I think there's so many animal lovers who eat animals.
Yes.
They think they're
just
animals.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just amazing. And it's difficult to not sound, for me, not sound righteous or superior, but you know better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you know they hurt them? If you have no idea how much, trust me. But people know they're hurt somehow. At least they know they're dead.
Yeah.
And it's just heels dug in. Will Tuttle, who wrote the World Peace Diet, he has this great line of that we're raised to just follow orders. And that's how we're raised. We're raised to eat and ignore them and squelch down any of feelings and opinions we have, which we all have as children, and we're just following orders. So it's like that. It's like there's so many different conversations to have that for somebody who's interested in social justice, I think you're just following orders. There's that avenue. And then there's racism, sexism, speciesism. Who are you better than, and that you can do whatever you want to? Then there's, the health conversations. I do think health-wise, I think it's more important what you don't eat than what you do.
Yeah.
And when you go vegan, what you've stopped eating, besides all the flesh and all the hormones and all the drugs and all the rage, you're not poisoning yourself.
Yeah.
And so many people get healthier, and there's this story, and it may be true, that it's because of what you start eating. I think it's because you stopped eating bad stuff. That's, I'm not a scientist and a biologist, but I just know that I don't even know how many drugs are in animals. There's so much, like 2/3 of the antibiotics in the country are sold to animals. So now there's no antibiotics that work for people anymore. I mean, the whole thing is just this cyclical, violence creates violence. And there's just so much freedom. And there's so much food. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yes. And it's so much fun to talk to other vegans, it's like, wow, I just found this great new humma.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we found it. One thing we found recently is that the sort of realization that once you realize that you can question your diet and your lifestyle to the extent that you completely cut out the thing that has been pushed on you basically your whole life, if you can question that and come up with a different answer, then what else can you change?
Yeah.
Everything, your whole worldview can change once you open that door.
Yeah.
And start looking into things in a different way. It's like the curtains open, off you go, isn't it?
Yeah. And remember there's a drawing of a very bushy tree, and there's a squirrel in it. And you look at it, you can't see the squirrel. And you just look and look and look. And these things are on Facebook a lot. You look and finally you see it. You can never not see it again.
Yes.
And so for me, I think that's our job. Have people see the squirrel, because
I like that.
You can't unsee it. You just can't unsee it. And it's just, if you're a feminist, dairy is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And chickens and, all these poor animals, and so it's the environmentalist carnivore, and it's just, they're just at the heart. Animals are at the heart of so much.
Yeah.
Our nature, our food, our entertainment, and it's just, and the people who would never wear fur, but, love a good steak, and it's get them to see the squirrel.
Yes.
And never can you not see it again. That's what I like,
There's nothing better than a hunk of prime Labrador steak, wonderfully marbled. And that is almost entirely dependent on how it's produced. Elwood's Organic Dog Meat has complete control of this entire journey. So I'm here at Elwood's farm to find out a little more about it.
Welcome to Elwood Farms.
Thank you very much, Elwood.
I hear you do a bit of barbecuing.
I do a little bit of barbecuing every now and then, yes. From a chef's point of view, consistency is key for everything.
It doesn't matter if it's a Rottweiler ribeye, a Pyrenees mince, or a lab sirloin.
You can always tell when the dog comes from a place where it was well reared. And every step has to be right, doesn't it? Oh, you should see these guys. So, from an Elwood's point of view, there's complete traceability.
Absolutely, unrivaled traceability, so it's fine.
Every single piece of dog meat.
Yeah, from pub to farmer's market.
Everything the dog's been fed.
Everything about it.
For each dog.
Yeah, only Marks and Spencer's and Whole Foods do this.
Where else can people order from?
From elwooddogmeat.com. That's ELWOOD dogmeat.com.
For top quality meat from dogs for people, meat that's local, sustainable, and humanely harvested, there's only Elwood's Organic Dog Meat. They seem pretty friendly, don't they? They're more responsive to me than my kids, to be honest.
Thanks for coming back, Veda. We do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So you just asked about how long we've been vegan.
Your
I
story.
think. Go on, Wes, you start.
I've been vegan 5 years, just after my 40th birthday. Having been a full-on carnivore before that, a carnist, whatever. And I will never ever go back.
Yes. I heard that Wes had gone vegan as a result of watching Cowspiracy.
Yeah.
And I was so amazed that I thought, well, I've got to watch Cowspiracy, haven't I, to find out what on earth has made this full-on meat eater go vegan overnight. So I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, me too. So that was it. 5 years. Actually, 5 years next week. The first week of May it was. I can't remember the exact date, but I do remember it was the first week of May. So
Yeah.
5 years next week.
Yeah,
have
the
to get
bigger they
myself a
are, the
vegan
harder
cake.
they fall. Isn't that expression? The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He is 6'3", so that does explain it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just found out yesterday, I didn't know this. It's like I spend so much time, I'm on hundreds of email lists. I mean, that's why the newsletter is so diverse. It's like it's so much information. But I just posted in our book directory the book Cowspiracy
All right.
and the book What the Health.
Oh,
They've probably been around forever, and I'm going, how did I not know about these?
yeah.
Yeah, no, they're great. Have you managed to get through Earthlings yet?
I haven't gone to Earthlings.
I can't bring myself to do it.
It's hard.
I know. So many people have said,
Yeah,
it was really hard to watch, and I just think I'm already on side.
right.
I don't need more converting because I'm
Yeah.
already converted. So I just don't think I could put myself through it. I know that's probably not the right thing to say, but it just feels like it would just make me really upset and angry.
It's a great thing to say, and I think that's another thing about activism, that you need to find your niche, and you need to see what works for you. And two of the things are I know somebody, for instance, who saw a video, turned her life around instantly, and all she wanted to do was work on videos because that's what worked for her.
Yes. Okay.
And it's like you get in a rut, and you don't even consider other alternatives because this is what worked for you, and that's it. I mean, I saw one picture. I said,
Yes.
what do I call? This is horrible. And but I didn't go down the road of, you just have to show pictures.
Yeah.
But it's really important. There's so much to do. There's just anything you do. literally anything you do to educate anybody in any way. My car's full of bumper stickers, which is very, gauche and out of fashion in the US these days. But
Yes.
I tell you, I get thumbs up. Some people flip me the bird. I get a lot, I get a lot of little hearts. I get horn. People honk their horn, and I don't know if they're happy or not. But I'll tell you, I'm known as the vegan car. So anywhere you drive where I live, it's right there all the time. And you put it in front of people, put it in front of people, put it in front of people. One of my many favorite memes, but one is the couple walking down the street talking about how they just hate how pushy vegans are. And the side panel is full of, meat commercials.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're real
That's
pushy.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The meat and dairy industry spends hundreds of millions every year on pushing their products.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't we push back? Because we haven't got the money that they've got, have we?
Yeah. Yeah. And just you don't know what's going to appeal to people. That's why in the guide I put so much about, animals. And we found just darling pictures of animals. Next to the pretend salmon, there's a gorgeous salmon picture. And there's people who say, why do you want to eat, food that looks like meat? Well, I didn't stop eating it because I didn't like it. I mean, now it's like, wouldn't think about it, putting it in my mouth. But, I like the taste and the consistency of that stuff. But so I love all the pretend stuff. I just found a new almond breeze extra creamy. It's like half and half.
Extra creamy. Is that good? That must be for coffee drinkers. Is that?
Oh, I have a big glass with dinner now.
Oh, really?
I grew up with a big glass of milk with dinner, and I've tried 8 million kinds of soy, nut, almond milk, and they're all fine for, coffee and stuff like that. But to have a nice big glass of milk for dinner, but this one. But, I've tried, you got to try them. I tell people, buy whatever you do. And if you don't like it, give it to the dog. The dog will eat it.
That's true.
Yeah.
They'll eat anything.
If in doubt, give it to the dog.
And I have possums and raccoons here. So if I'm not going to punish myself. Well, I paid $5. I should eat this. No, you don't need to suffer. There's just no suffering.
No, that's true.
So what do your friends and family think about all the stuff that you do then, or when you're in vegan and stuff?
Well, like I say, my brother and sister-in-law live, 2.5 hours from me. And after we left our home, at 18, we probably saw each other every 5 or 6 years anyway. So we weren't like really close anyway. And they actually, when I moved up in this area near them, because I wanted to live up in this part of the country, they told me they were vegan. And I said, wow, I didn't know. So boy, I was just like so happy. So about every Christmas or Thanksgiving for years, we would trade places and have these just, 20 different things, I don't know if you've been to many vegan Thanksgiving dinners, but it's like piled up with goodies, or whatever Thanksgiving would be in the UK, maybe Christmas, So for years. And then one day my brother and I were sitting around, he says, I just don't know how we're ever going to give up eggs. And I said, what? So they've been lying to me for 17 years because they're very committed to family and they didn't want to exclude me and they didn't want to have a fight. So they just pretended for those holidays that they were vegan.
Oh, wow.
I was just irate. I said, the most important thing in my life, and you've lied to me all these years, I'm probably never going to go to your house again. I couldn't understand. I just wasn't willing to forgive them for that, And then my landlord said he was going to sell my wonderful rented house that I just adore. And my brother called me about something and I said, oh, by the way, I'm going to have to move because, I don't have the down payment. And 3 days later, they called me up and said they'd give me the down payment. So I said, if it's out of guilt, I'll take it. Fine with me. Whatever, for whatever reason, but
Yeah, why
so
not?
anyway, yeah, I'm living in my dream house, and I've been paid to work at home for animal rights for 22 years. So I'm living proof. Just find it. Just keep putting yourself out there. There's a lot of people getting paid. And it's just a really wonderful way to make a living. Just wonderful. But you have to be disciplined. I get up and start working at 9 every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. And I had friend when I had my word processing service, I had friends and roommates who were jealous, and they tried to start their own businesses, but they'd sleep until noon. You got to be disciplined to do it, but it's just such a joy. I mean, I'm home with the kitties, all day, and I don't, and I just can't even, I hate traffic because I've had to deal with it so little in my life. I just can't believe what people put themselves through twice a day to go to a job they hate. It's just, don't do that, just, I put it out. I just sent everybody I knew letters and phone calls and faxes back in the day. Can you hire me? Can you hire me? Can you hire me? And the Christians asked me first. So I said, okay, I'm on board. But the other thing I want to share too is it's so important. However much of your time you're spending directly on what you would call animal rights work, you have to vacate. You have to turn it off.
Oh, that's a good point.
And I never look at my computer after 7 o'clock at night. Waterbed, Netflix, kitties.
Yeah.
That's my social life. And I know people who work 24 hours a day, and you're not going to save them all. You're just not.
No.
And you need to be healthy, and you need to represent being, a healthy vegan. And if you're working yourself and you're really sick and you're depressed all the time, and that's like with the videos, you need to watch what you can watch. And people will tell you should watch them. No, you shouldn't. There's just days occasionally where I go, I'm going to watch some. And I do. Have you seen, well, you probably haven't seen Dominion then either, right?
No, I know about it, but I haven't seen.
Yeah.
No.
There's a trailer that's about 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I've seen the trailer.
Powerful. Just powerful.
That's why I haven't watched the film, because I watched the trailer.
That was enough.
I just can't do it. It just wrecked me.
Oh,
I just couldn't do it.
I know, but I have. We used to post videos, and we don't do that anymore because there's too many. But I'll read something, and it's just like, oh God, humans.
Yes.
What are
humans are the worst.
This is just, I don't know. I just see so much. It's just unbelievable. And that's why vacate, really turn it off.
Yes.
And I don't have a smartphone, and I'm not going to get one. I'm hanging out as long as I can. Here's my phone.
That's it.
Remember those?
Wow. Old school.
Oldie but goodie. Yeah. No, I have too much input already.
Yeah.
I've never sent or read a text in my life.
Wow.
I use email, online, and telephone. And I don't need more input. And just a few times I'm around people when they're texting, it's like, how exhausting. This just must be exhausting. Oh, there's another thing I have to respond to. Oh, there's another thing. Oh, there's another thing. I have my email set so it doesn't ding when I get an email. I turn that off.
So you choose when you get your email.
I want to choose when I'm going to open it.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I'm, all this wonderful techie stuff, I think is just not helping the planet. we're not
Yes.
communicating
Can I
any
come
better.
can I come and live with you? Sounds amazing.
Say it again.
Could I come and live with you? It sounds.
Well, just stop. Stop.
You see,
What time at night do you want to stop?
oh yeah, I know. I wish I could stop. It's I just got.
You have to. Honest.
I know you see these things, don't you? That were on. Well, you wouldn't obviously. There's memes that go around Facebook and the like saying, would you take £1 million to go and live in this log cabin in the woods with no Wi-Fi? Yes, I'll do it for free. Don't give me money.
Wouldn't even take £1 million. Yeah, just let me go. Where's the keys?
I know. I've had people ask me, how do you live without a phone? Well,
I'm
happy.
Here I am.
I'm happy. I'm free. You know, I just, and people tell me like eventually I'll have no choice. But I said, I don't know. So far, so good. Yeah. And they're tracking us everywhere anyway. So, it's not because of that. Because they, I mean, you look at something you might want to buy and seconds later it's on your Facebook page.
Yes.
Oh, you're interested in this. So they know everything we're doing.
Yeah.
And so it's just horrific. I think it's, in some ways it's getting worse. I think when people learn a lot of the realities about how animals are treated for food, it's like, you can't tell me what to do. Stop telling me what to do. I want to make my own choices. And the more people know, I think that there's still this huge backlash. Huge, just this huge, I don't know how to say it, but the more information people have, the more they dig their heels in. And yes. A lot, like I say again, they don't know what to eat. They don't know how good it is.
No, that's it. It's because, like we were saying earlier on, you get conditioned to follow orders to have your meat, potatoes, vegetables. That's how it's just so ingrained, and that, you have to, it's a big step to suddenly say, right, I don't eat any of those things. So what the hell do I eat now?
Yeah.
Where do I go?
Yeah.
So a resource like yours is absolutely fantastic, because it literally gives you so much information on dishes to eat, foods to eat, and where else to get support as well. It's not just recipes, and it's not just animal abuse images and information. It's not just a podcast directory. It's everything all in one. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, you should be.
But on that, on the page, when you go to that link, there's a picture of the little business cards, and there's a PDF, and people can take it to a printer and print your own cards, and then just hand them out. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have thousands of them, but I don't think I want to mail them to you.
No.
It costs $500 to mail 500 cards. But on that page, just take them to the printer, and everywhere you go, just stick them up. But there's still bulletin boards, believe it or not. I mean, there are places where you can put up flyers and cards, and I had the guy came to read my electric meter one day. And he said, oh, I see all your bumper stickers. He said, I've been thinking about being vegan. I said, well, you came to the right house. And so I took one of my cards and handed it to him. And he said, you're not going to believe this, but I just took one off the bulletin board down the street.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
So it's like,
it works.
It
Brilliant.
doesn't happen all the time, but when stuff like that happens, it's like, oh, it's working.
Yeah, that's it. One step at a time. That's fantastic.
Yeah. One paw in front of the other is what I say.
Yes, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that we regularly ask is around how things changed for you physically or mentally. And normally that's around when you first went vegan, but you've had so much experience over the years. I was just kind of wondering how things have changed for you over those years. Not just for you, but the changes that you've seen in the vegan movement. Well,
like I say, for me, it was about the animals. And the best thing, if you want to save animals, the best thing that you can do is stop eating them. So that's the first thing. So it's just, like I said, it was never an issue. I think one time I was like, wanted to go somewhere for lunch. It was like, I'm so hungry and there's nothing here I can eat. And I said, oh, shut up. You ate breakfast. You're not dying here. But it was never hard. What I've seen in the movement that I think is really sad is movement away from, because it started out as animal rights movement.
Yeah.
And it's now become the vegan food movement. And I don't think most people who go vegan have any idea the depth and breadth of animal abuse. They're just focusing in one area. And
yes,
they're the person who starts a chain of vegan restaurants and then visits them with her fur coat. It's, and the big groups, there's no such thing as happy meat. Just, and that's really sad to me that it's become so prevalent, particularly the larger groups that have all the money, not all of them, but so many of them that have so much backing, and the environmental groups who refuse to take this on, just refuse. And there's the one environmental group that I know in the US that promotes veganism. It says, take your plate off extinction, or take extinction off your plate. And it's the Center for Biological Diversity, but that's their vegan project. And the Fund for Horses is the only horse protection group I know that they have advocate from your plate, and they promote veganism. But most of the horse people, all these people, I don't know if you know about the wild horse roundups in the United States, but they're just horrific. They're just thousands of these gorgeous creatures who've been wild. Well, they're in the way of the cattle ranchers. So thousands upon thousands of them, they're rounded up, they're chased by helicopters. It's just truly horrific. And all the people, all the groups who want to save the wild horses, they never mention the cattle ranchers.
Wow.
And it's funding. They don't want to upset their donors.
Wow.
And it's just really sad because they're dancing with their foot nailed to the floor. You cannot save the wild horses, and not promote veganism. It's just nuts. The same with the people who, it's speciesism is between humans and other species, but I think there's almost some degree of speciesism within which animals you care about. So
yes, very much so, yeah.
Yeah, you want to save the whales while you're eating your tuna sandwich.
Yes.
And it is speciesism and racism and sexism. They're all the same. Here, I'm bigger and better, and I can dominate you and do what I want.
Yeah.
And so all of those, it's just so easy to, it's like once you see the squirrel, it's like, oh, well, of course. Of course, it's obvious that they're all connected. They're all the same. And, that's why I tried to put in a guide a bunch of stuff, all different areas, because I really need people to be vegan. The world needs people to be vegan.
Certainly does.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. We're running out of time, really, aren't we? And certainly our kids and their kids are going to come up against some real hardships that none of us have faced in our lifetimes.
Yeah. Somebody was talking the other day about how he said, my children will never see creeks full of tadpoles.
Yes.
I mean, just something simple like that I grew up with. I was born in 1946. I mean, I'm 76.
Wow.
And I've seen what, clear cutting is just this horrific. It's like, what, 5 acres a second in Brazil? I mean, it's just brutal. And I heard a great phrase of what, like the huge drift nets they use for all the overfishing. They call it clear cutting the ocean floor, which is a very powerful statement.
Mm.
And that's what they do. And people want to save the ocean, so they run around on the beach and pick up plastic. And then go have
Or
fish
have a
fries.
yes, or have a paper straw.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah. Paper
you know,
straws. Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's like all the talk about the climate crisis, all, oh, well, this company's going to do this and this company's going to do that. And, the governor of this state is going to change this and this and this degree of so-and-so. What about all the factory farms, sir? But there's, it just has to be, I don't know how to do it except one-on-one. We just don't have the media. We just don't have what we need. And people just, I don't know if you've heard the jokes in the US with the montages they'll do of this news program brought to you by Pfizer. This news program brought to you by Pfizer. Oh, and so introduced by Pfizer, and same thing with Burger King and McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's so much money. And thank you so much for what you're doing. I don't know do you know how many people are listening to you, finding you?
Oh, millions it is. Millions.
I'm so glad. I'm so relieved. Did you see the list on our site of all the vegan animal rights podcasts there are?
Yeah, do you know, I knew there were quite a lot, but I didn't know there were that many. It's
There's
incredible.
A lot. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
I have this fantasy, maybe you guys could take it on. I'm not techie enough. What if every show we can find 1 week does nothing but circuses, or 1 week does nothing except dairy, so that all the podcasts at the same time during 1 week, I think it would be really great.
God, yeah, that would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And but a lot of the vegan ones are just about food and recipes and cooking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is fine if but that's not why I'm here.
We're not very much not recipes and cooking, because neither of us are good cooks.
Well, you look in my book, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's easy. Like this morning, I had a half a watermelon and an English muffin for breakfast. Why not?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
And there's so much good food out there. It's ridiculous.
Yes. In our last episode, we spoke to a guy who's, as he put it, a recovering fruitarian, and he would often have 30 bananas in a day, which is a bit too much for me. But it's something that's not causing anybody or any animal any suffering. So fair play. But it's just that's just a example of the wide range of options that there are for that kind of stuff, for not eating animals. It's just so frustrating. People just don't see it, do they? That's the thing for me. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah. But it's like, I knew I was eating dead animals, but it was like, I call myself a speciesist carnivore at the time, because there were parts of cows, pigs, and chickens I would eat. Not all the parts. Wouldn't eat cow tongue. No. Filet mignon.
Yeah.
But I never ate lamb or rabbits or deer or oysters or lobsters. Even before I was vegan, you put this creature on your plate and you take a pair of pliers and crack their home to eat them. And but meanwhile, I'm eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. So speciesist carnivore. But
yes,
so much. I want to share. I don't think it's in the current one. I should add it. I saw something on Facebook, and like I say, I don't like to cook. I just, it doesn't interest me. But I saw this thing and I thought, I really do like cornbread. But that's like cooking, you have to add this and add that and add that. So, but the recipe is you find a cornbread mix that's vegan or become accidentally vegan. They just have no animals in it. And you take a can of cream corn and you put it in the blender till it's all smooth. and you mix the mix and the can of cream corn in a baking dish and throw it in the oven. Moist, delicious cornbread to die for.
Oh, as simple as that.
Yeah.
That's
I was,
incredible.
and my vegan chef friends laughed at me until they tried it. They said, "This is really good." And I live alone, so I had a whole giant thing of cornbread, and I would just eat a few pieces now and then, and it lasted a couple weeks. But you have to find
Wow.
it's there's all this great food that's accidentally vegan.
Yeah.
It's just they didn't happen to put any animals in it. So you just, but the other thing you need to watch out for is there's companies who've been vegan for years, and all of a sudden they'll decide to add buttermilk
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
yes.
milk powder.
or milk.
Yes.
Casein, which nobody knows. Rennet is what makes cheese creamy. That's from a
Mhm.
lining of a calf's stomach.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then people say, I can't live
Grotesque,
without
isn't it?
cheese. It's like, well, maybe you can after all, but I don't know. Thanks so much for doing this.
No,
And,
no.
any-
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Thank you for coming on. It's great.
Yeah. We've we enjoy it. We have a different guest every week, and it's every episode. Sorry, and it's. I mean, I've learned so much from just talking to other vegans, because
Mhm.
one of the things that we found is that you don't often get to talk to vegans about being vegan. Normally, the only time you get to talk about being vegan is when you're with somebody who wants to keep eating dead animals. So
Right.
it's actually just nice to be able to have a chat vegan to vegan
Yeah, absolutely.
without
Yeah.
any conflict. So it's one
It
of the
is
best
fun.
things for me anyway.
Yeah. No, me too. I really love it. I like doing these too. Because I get
That's
to
it.
meet people from around the world. How exciting.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. We've spoken to people all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
Well, please, consider signing up for our newsletter. Just all-creatures.org. It's a great newsletter. And share the guide. What to eat when you don't eat animals.
Absolutely.
Just any way you can share it. Please do, because I know it's effective.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Right. 2 more questions before we have to go, Veda.
Yeah.
First one. Do you have a favorite vegan venue or restaurant? Is there anything near you?
Well, I'm an hour and a half north of Seattle, and there's tons of them in Seattle,
Oh.
but I haven't been down there in like 3 years.
Right.
And there's no vegan restaurants here. And
Oh.
there's a few places that serve, some great vegan meals, but I just do takeout. One of the things I don't do ever is sit down with people eating dead animals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a restaurant that has a vegan option, I'll get it to go. But I won't
Yeah.
sit there. I just can't sit there and watch people eat it.
It's tough, isn't
No.
it?
Yeah. And it's a hard thing for a lot of people because they're very peer pressured.
Mm.
They're very concerned, and they want to keep their family. And you want to go to Thanksgiving and with your family, then ask them to please not have the dead bird so they can be with you.
What's more important?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
it's when you take a stand for something and just commit to it, it's just easier
Yeah.
than waffling. Then, sometimes you're this way and sometimes you're that. It's just so much easier to be consistent with what you promised yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we started this question towards the middle of last year after finding out about dystopia and living a vegan lifestyle in a carnivore world. So do you have any hope for the future?
I'd like to say I do, but I really don't.
Okay.
It's just something that I don't know how to get people to understand everything they do in their life can be positive and make a difference.
Mm.
And most people, they just don't believe that's possible. Or, oh, it's just me, so I won't make that kind of difference.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? I'm going to save what, so many animals. Well, yeah, you're going to save so many animals. Yeah, thank you. And, be a good, be a poster child for being a happy vegan, just in your life. And don't take crap from people, and don't let them get away with it. Oh, come on, you can just have one bite. Do you understand how much I love animals? That's insulting that you keep asking me to do that.
Absolutely.
And just be straight with people. And you'll probably lose some friends, and maybe, some of your family members won't want to hang around you anymore. But that's you choose things that are going to move life forward. That's my opinion. You always, and there's consequences to everything we do. And it's just like I say, it's so much easier to be consistent with what is important to you than to sell out, because when you sell out.
Yeah.
And you think, you spend the next 2 hours going, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that, I should, beating yourself up that, you didn't. So, as much as you can, just be as straightforward and honest all the time. And people appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
People appreciate authenticity because there's so much fakery now. You don't know who to believe about anything. So when somebody's like really straightforward and honest, I think people like it.
Yeah.
They can trust you.
That's very true.
You don't look one way and talk another. But
yes, that's it.
I think one of my favorite things about the guide is I'm looking at it. It's so colorful. It's just so colorful.
It's well, thank you for joining us. It's been really great to talk to you over the last hour or so, and I always find it really interesting to hear from our ancient vegans about how things used to be and compared to how they are now, because I think it's something that we're really conscious of is just how easy it is to be vegan at the minute in comparison to how it was sort of 10 or more years ago when there was none of the products around that we have now. So we are very lucky.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. But I call myself an animal rights vegan.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to take that on. That, and this plant-based stuff it's just such a sellout for the poor little creatures.
That's true. That's true.
Absolutely.
Loving animals.
So much, Veda. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been really cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions you have or anything you need, let me know.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Take care. Have a great day.
Bye. Bye. That was amazing. That was it was just it's a minefield, isn't it? And like some of the ones we've done recently, and particularly that one, that's like quite impactful, I think. It's just massive eye openers to things.
Yes, absolutely. And I know I said it in the episode, but the website is just an incredible resource. There's so much on there. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I need to have a look at that. We'll have a look at that.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the show notes, and we'll hopefully get some people over that way. That would be good.
Absolutely. I need to stop saying absolutely, by the way. I can't stop.
Absolutely.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, as always.
Yeah. If anybody wants to get in touch, you can find us on all our social medias. Like us, share our stuff, get in touch. And if you want to come and let us know. And if you do want to send us an email, what would they do?
Oh, send it to howiveganpodcast@gmail.com.
Sounds like a pro. Cheers, dude. We shall see you next time.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.